Hey guys, this is Chetan,
And this is Abby.
and welcome back to the Unprofessionals. So this weekend starts quote unquote week zero of the college football season, and we have potentially 5 games going on, but week one doesn't start until next week. And we're 2 weeks away from the NFL season, so we're just gonna have constant football going on. But to preview our college football season, we're gonna look at who we potentially think is gonna be in the top four, who is going to be playing the national championship game, who our national champions are going to be, which team has the biggest potential that no one's talking about that can be in the whether it be the top four or the top 10. And then we're going to talk about who is most likely to disappoint this season. So to start it off, we'll be going over the top four. And I think Abby and I both can agree on number one. It's Alabama. Abby?
No, no. Give your top four. Who do you think is gonna be the top four? And it doesn't gotta be. It doesn't have to be in order. Give your top four teams that can make the playoffs in your opinion, and I'll give my top four.
I'm going to go with Alabama, Oklahoma, Clemson, and Georgia.
So you're going with, as of right now, the AP top 25. You're going with 1, 2, 3, and 5. Okay. Alrighty. I think in no order. I got Oklahoma, Clemson, Georgia, Cincinnati. Alabama misses the playoffs for the first time in the college football era, playoff era.
You better have a good explanation for this one.
I just think Georgia's going to beat them. They're going to win the SEC because they're ready. I think that it's their time. I think the team is better overall. They lost so many players. Mac Jones gone. Jalen Waddle gone. I understand they just rebuild. They retool. But usually when they retool, there's still some guys left over from the previous year. Like when Ruggs and Jerry Jeudy left, you still had Waddle and Devontae Smith, and then Meacham came out of nowhere, and you had obviously you had Najee Harris still, and you had Mac Jones. Now that Mac Jones is gone, Najee Harris is gone. The old line, a lot of the old Alex Leatherwood, the center, not Creed Humphreys. I'm forgetting the name. There's another lineman that left, and Jalen Waddle left, and Devontae Smith left. Meacham is still there. There's one more receiver they still had from last year, but I'm not hearing the names like I listened to from before. And Bryce Young, I don't know. I understand the hype, but if you're picking, I will take the veteran Georgia team over the young Alabama team. I think Alabama goes like 10-2, 10-1, 11-1, 10-2. For them, that's awful. Obviously, it's a great season for almost 99% of teams. For them, that's pretty bad. So I think Georgia, just because they're in that same conference, they win it. I think Clemson gets in because they're off the conference is trash.
ACC.
So they can go 11-1, lose to Georgia week one, and still make it. Oklahoma, I think, is on a mission. I think finally got a defense. They got the offense to go with the defense. Finally, this is probably Lincoln Riley's maybe his best team yet.
Which is
I
crazy.
don't think it's his best quarterback yet ever, but I think best team it is for sure. And then Cincinnati, I think this is the first time a team that's not in the big Power Five, not Power Five because they're in the American, but one of those teams outside of the ACC, Big Ten, SEC, Big Ten, Big 12, and Pac-12 makes it into the playoff. They're also a veteran team. The bowl game they played last year with Georgia, they felt like they belonged. They showed that they belonged. They were winning that game until Georgia finally kicked it up a bit. I understand that was a bowl game. It didn't mean as much to Georgia as it did for Cincinnati, but still, I think Cincinnati, that has been Ritter, solid quarterback. They got receivers, they got the defense, they got the head coach. I think Cincinnati makes it. I think Alabama will probably be 5. Ohio State, I have no idea what to expect because the quarterback, I don't know much about Shroud. What to expect from him? I don't imagine he'll be better than Justin Fields year one. Obviously, the Big Ten sucks. To be honest, there's nobody in. It's theirs and nobody else. I don't even. Who's even the second best team in the Big Ten? Would it be? Let's see. Is anyone? I guess Indiana is
I
number
mean,
2.
last year was Indiana and then Northwestern. They
Penn
won the
State is
challenge.
ranked 19th right now. So those two, and those two are not Indiana. I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year. So there's no, but Wisconsin.
Northwestern won't be up there like last year because
So
they lost two of their best players.
could Wisconsin give them a fight? Maybe, possibly. So we'll see. But yeah, I think that's my top 4. Texas A&M can have a shot.
But so my take on the Alabama thing. How many games do you think Alabama loses this year then?
Actually, no, never mind. They did miss the playoffs one year. The year they went 10-2. My bad. So they have missed it before.
Yeah. So how many games do you think they lose this year?
Okay, let me just make sure I get the schedule right. Let me just see. Let's see. I think they lose. Let's see this schedule real quick. I want to be. Hey, I'm about to say something crazy, yo. I might go a little bit too far with this. How many games could I feasibly see them losing? There are, in my opinion, 1, 2, 3 games they could potentially lose.
Okay,
I say they lose only 2 of them.
let me take a guess. At Florida?
No,
No. Okay.
not even close.
So A&M October 9th.
Yes, that's one of them.
At Auburn November 27th?
No,
No. Okay. Week 1 against Miami.
no.
Ole Miss?
Yes, that's 2.
What would the third one be? Mississippi State?
Nope. Not even. No, oh, come on, man.
I'm just taking guess. Arkansas.
Yep, that's the one.
Isn't
Especially when they play Arkansas right before the Iron Bowl. They can be looking past them. Arkansas is finally headed in the right direction. I think Ole Miss always plays them tough. Ole Miss got an offense, and they got I'm forgetting the name. Head coach from USC.
that
God,
Kiffin?
Lane Kiffin. They got Lane Kiffin. Texas A&M. Obviously, they got a new quarterback. Kellen Mond is now a Viking. Shout out my Vikings. They still got Spiller. They still got Watermaker, the tight end. They got players. They got defense. That's Texas A&M. That's gonna be 1 versus 6. That's gonna be a huge game. I think they'll go into the Ole Miss game undefeated. Obviously, Ole Miss. I want to discuss them in a bit again. But yeah, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Arkansas. I think those 3 are potential losses. I don't think they lose all 3. I think they lose 2 of them. They go 10-2 as a result. Now, if we go to Georgia, because I think they're going to win it, I think Georgia, on the other hand, goes undefeated.
Okay.
Including week 1. Their toughest game is week 1.
That's the Clemson game.
Yeah. Week 2, nothing. Week 3, nothing. Week 4, nothing. Week 5, they play Arkansas, but I think they'll take care of them at home. Auburn, I don't think Auburn. Bo Nix, he seems like he's a runner, not a thrower.
Yeah.
He's an athlete playing quarterback. They change head coaches. I don't know what to expect from them. Kentucky, they play solid every year, but still, at Georgia, I don't think so. Florida, I think is overrated beyond compare. I don't believe in them. Missouri at home, Tennessee, come on, man. Charleston, Southern, Georgia Tech. They have, in my opinion, if you're talking about tough games, they have 1 real tough game, week 1, and then they have Arkansas and maybe Florida. So I think they go undefeated.
I mean, it's no schedule like last year. What was this? Hold on. In 2020, Georgia had to face off against
Alabama.
Baylor when it was number 7, Alabama, Florida. Crap. Notre Dame when it was ranked 5th. Is this even? Yeah. Baylor in the Sugar Bowl. No, this is not the right season, is it? Hold on.
Yes, let's before we don't gotta get too crazy into this, but yeah, schedule last year was tougher. This year, the quarterback JT Daniels is there. They get the O line, they get the D line, they got receivers. Pickens, amazing. He could be a 1st round pick this year, maybe. They got the running game. They got the Cook. Obviously, Dalvin Cook's younger brother still there. They have the defense, safeties. Um, they always got the monsters, big boys. They actually look bigger when they wear the black. So they look meaner, tougher, scarier, etc. But yeah, I think Georgia, and I gave you why Cincinnati. So I don't blame you for your list, man. Come on, Alabama. I'm not blaming anybody for picking them. I don't blame anybody for picking. I think everyone agrees with Oklahoma. If they don't do it this year, then I don't know. Lincoln Riley maybe like, yo, I'm out of here. If I can't win this year, then I don't know when I'm gonna win. Clemson, obviously, they're just by default. Their conference is so bad. I think they lose week 1 and then they win every single other game.
Yeah,
The only other games that there are even close to being challenged, there's only one game, and I think it's maybe by a long shot. That's Florida State, because I truly believe in the quarterback Mixon. What's his name? Mackenzie Milton, who got injured 3 years ago from Central Florida. That disgusting leg injury that he had, and he transferred to. Finally, he got his mobility back, and now he's going to Florida State. Florida State could be one of those surprise teams, but this schedule is garbage. You got South Carolina State, Georgia Tech, NC State, Boston College at home. So Boston College could be solid, but at home. Syracuse, garbage. Pittsburgh, stop it. Louisville, stop it. UConn, worst team in college football. Wake Forest, they can be decent, but that's at home. South Carolina, come on, man. How you even get enjoyment out of this schedule? If you're a Clemson fan, you get to beat up on little kids. That's not what I consider college football. That's why NFL. I'm not trying to make this about NFL versus college. That's why I think NFL will always be number one. I understand atmosphere, vibes, alumni, tradition goes to college, but in terms of every week competitiveness, it's not even close. And that's why I feel NFL will always hold up upper hand. All right, you gave your 4, I gave my 4. Now let's get into the Heisman Trophy winner. Who you got? Last year was Devontae Smith. Before that was
for the longest time.
Who was it before him again? I'm forgetting. It's skipping me right now.
Trevor Lawrence. No. Lawrence was the year before.
Trevor Lawrence won the Heisman, did he?
No, never mind.
Yeah. It was him. Who won the Heisman before Devontae Smith?
Oh, Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Oh, man. What a season. What a season.
Yeah. Let's see. Heisman Trophy winners. And then before that was Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield.
The quarterbacks. So Devontae Smith obviously was an anomaly last year.
Yeah, he was the first non-quarterback to win it since Derrick Henry in 2015.
Yep. So you gotta be special if it's not a QB. So give me your Heisman Trophy winner.
I mean, I'm gonna go with what recent history has shown us. Obviously, I'm gonna go with the quarterback, and you know what school I'm picking the quarterback out of. I'm gonna go with Spencer Rattler out of Oklahoma to win this Heisman Trophy. They're gonna end up being in the top 4, and Lincoln Riley he makes quarterbacks look special. Jalen Hurts is the one quarterback that he had that didn't win the Heisman Trophy, but Baker Mayfield went number 1, won the Heisman. Kyler Murray went number 1, won the Heisman. You and I both have high hopes for Jalen Hurts this season. He's going to be really good behind that Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. And now this is going to be the third QB he coaches into a Heisman Trophy. And probably, if he comes out this season, probably would be the first number 1 overall pick. I think enough to be said about Spencer Rattler. What about you, Abby?
And I don't fault you there at all. He's in my top. He will be invited, in my opinion. I'm going with a complete wild card here because I feel this team is going to do some crazy things this year. Lane Kiffin is a mastermind. Matt Corral, he could be the Joe Burrow of this year. I'm not saying he's ended up being the first pick or anything. Ole Miss, they just score. You got to have numbers. Matt Corral, I think he is going to pull off the upset and beat Alabama this year. That's going to be a Heisman moment for him. He just needs to limit his turnovers. He had a game last year with 6 interceptions. He had another game with 3 interceptions. So he has to limit the interceptions. But if you look at the schedule, Louisville win, Austin P, in my opinion, win, Tulane win, 3-0 going into Alabama. I think he does the unthinkable. He wins against Alabama. That's 4-0. Beats the number 1 team in the country. At home against Arkansas, he struggled against Arkansas last year. I think he rebounds 5-0. Tennessee 6-0. LSU 7-0. At Auburn, I could see a hiccup. Just because of the division, a loss there. Liberty is going to be solid. They have a really good quarterback. At home, though, I think they win. At home at Texas A&M, they could lose that game. Home at Vanderbilt, win that game. Mississippi State win that game. Easy, in my opinion. They could go 9 worst case scenario. Ole Miss, in my opinion, goes 8-4. Best case, they can go 11-1, 10-2. So they're going to win between. If he can win 9 to 10 games and put up the numbers I think he's going to put up. Obviously, Elijah Moore's gone. He went to the Jets. They're known for receivers. DK Metcalf was there. Brown, AJ Brown was there. Before that was Laquan Treadwell. Obviously, his career didn't pan out in the NFL, but he was still really good in college. So Ole Miss get solid receivers. Lane Kiffin is an offensive genius. So I think if you're going to, I'm just going side. Devontae Smith his odds preseason was probably crazy. So I'm going completely out of left field here with him. The last 2 Heisman Trophy winners have both been guys that were not even close to being discussed. Joe Burrow, nobody even thought close from what they saw the previous year. Devontae Smith, the receiver, obviously doing something historic, winning it. And I think Matt Corral is going to be the guy because Ole Miss is going to probably win a couple games. It's going to shock the world. They got that offense. They got that crazy head coach. And to be honest, those blue jerseys, they just sparkle when you watch them. That's my guy.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at his stats from last season. Very good stats. It's just high turnover ratio. But 11 of his 14 interceptions were thrown in 2 games. But against Arkansas, against LSU.
Yup.
That's one.
And they handle LSU.
And the second thing is against Nick Saban's defense last year, 21 for 28, 365 yards, 2 touchdowns, 13 carries for 40 yards.
I think they scored 49 on them. Did they not? What was the score? I think they scored in the 40s. 50s, actually, I think. Was it 51?
Let's double check that. That was 63-48.
There you go. And that was the greatest Alabama offense ever. They're not going to do that again. So I think Ole Miss, they have a legit chance to beat them. They always play them tight usually. Ole Miss, listen, I think Ole Miss is in for a great season, possibly. And Matt Corral is in for a Heisman Trophy potential season and put his name on the map for maybe even the NFL. Now we go to team on the rise that nobody's really talking about. Maybe they could make a New Year's Six Bowl. Maybe they could even make noise for the playoffs. They don't got to make the playoffs. A team that nobody's talking about. Or maybe they're talking about them a little bit, but they're not getting the respect that they should be getting. Who's your team?
I mean, I don't watch as much college football as you do. But last year, Coastal Carolina just made its way into the top 25. Played really well. I think they beat out, was it BYU?
Yep. Zach Wilson.
They beat Zach Wilson. And I just think it's going to be them again just because it's.
So they're 22 right now. Where do you think they're going to be?
I mean, if we're looking at it, Texas always seems to disappoint. Penn State at 19 is okay. Indiana, we already talked about how we feel about the Big Ten. LSU, I feel right now kind of ranked high. Florida always disappoints us.
I'll be honest with you, bro. I could name 10 teams ranked ahead of Coastal Carolina right now that have no business being ranked ahead of them. Texas, no way.
Yeah.
Penn State, no way.
Yep.
Indiana, no way. USC, no way. Miami,
Wisconsin.
no way. Florida, no way. Oregon, no way. UNC, no way. Notre Dame, no way. All of these teams are playing off of reputation.
I think Wisconsin too.
No, I think Wisconsin's in for a rebound. I think Wisconsin, maybe even LSU's in for a rebound. Iowa, they're always tough. Washington's in for a rebound. Texas, we're gonna get into them. But so your choice is Coastal Carolina?
Yeah, and I think they finished in the top 10.
All right. Oh, not shabby at all. That's great. That's a 12 team being up from going from the top 22 to going to top 10 is a huge jump. Great pick. I agree with you there. That's one of the teams. For me, it's a team that's not even ranked in the top 25. I just discussed them with their quarterback, Ole Miss. This is ultimate disrespect. You're gonna rank Texas above Ole Miss. Texas is going to be I think they're gonna start the season 0-2. Texas is playing Louisiana, who's ranked 23 at home, 9-point favorites. I think they could take that L on that game. Then they go to Arkansas. I think Arkansas is going to beat them. This team, Texas, is going to get a reality check real quick. Sam Ehlinger, who was their quarterback, who was actually like their steady rock, obviously they were never able to climb the mountain. They always had high expectations. But Sam Ehlinger is now a Colt. They still haven't named their quarterback yet. I don't think they have the talent. Texas is playing off of reputation from the Vince Young era and prior to that, simply based off of that. But their schedule is they got to go to TCU. Oklahoma is going to absolutely blast them. Oklahoma State could blast them. Iowa State could blast them. West Virginia they can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They could have 5. They could have a 5-7 season. 6-6, 5-7. I don't think they do better than 7-6. You're telling me 7-6 is ranked 21. I mean 7-5 is ranked 21 in the country right now? No way. I think I know we're talking about which team we're gonna be so shocked about that. So I'm basically doing both questions in one.
Because my most disappointing team was also gonna be Texas, simply for the fact that every team that you listed. On top of that, you're being nice when you're saying they could have 5 or 6 wins, but as dumb as it sounds to say, but every time they play Texas Tech, no matter how good or bad Texas Tech is,
last year to win that game.
Yeah, it takes them so much effort just to beat Texas Tech.
Last year was like the miracle of the year when they beat them in overtime.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with another team, Texas Tech. You just named them. Steve Sarkisian. I've never seen. This is the whole Bill Belichick thing in the college football. I've never seen assistant coaches get so much love for doing something with Nick Saban's team. Bro, you coached Mac Jones and 5 first-round picks, and you think, and I'm not, obviously he got the job, props to him. He gets the money, props to him. He gets the job offer. No disrespect to him. But I'm just talking about the way people think like he's changing the fortunes of Texas. You have got to be kidding me. You coached first-round NFL players. You're going to Texas. You have nothing close to that. You had the second greatest offense I've ever seen. The number one offense I ever saw was Joe Burrow and LSU, obviously, the year prior. And then last year was Alabama. You got to be kidding me. So, go ahead. Thoughts?
On top of that, like, any coach that comes from these trees, especially college football.
I think Lane Kiffin is the only exception so far.
No. Ryan Day?
Well, he didn't coach for it. But
no.
What do you mean, Ryan Day?
I mean, what I'm making a bigger point.
Succeeding a legend?
I'm making a bigger point here is, with when we're talking about these great college coaches, we're not just talking about their system and the culture they instill. It's the fact that they can go to these recruits' houses and get them to come to the college. So
I can make your son a NFL player.
Yes. So like you're telling me that when these coaches are hired, so when Sarkisian is hired, they're like, oh, we're gonna get these guys, but yeah, he coached under Nick Saban, but he's not Nick Saban. Right. And the only other coach that's been able to do something similar to this and succeed is Ryan Day, because he was with Urban Meyer, and then then Ohio State succeeded with Ryan Day. It's not, it's very rare. And you're hiring a head coach based on the pedigree you assume he has, but in reality, Nick Saban's the one that went to each of these kids' houses and be like, I want you to come play in Alabama, not Sarkisian.
Listen, man, no disrespect to him.
Yeah, no disrespect to him, but
at Washington, he did nothing. At USC, that was an epic failure. Those are big name jobs.
yeah.
Texas, I hope all the best for him. No disrespect to him. Obviously, I hope success for all these people. I'm just going by what I've seen, bro. People should get absolutely no credit for what they did with that. You are legit throwing the ball to superstar players left and right. You run the guy running the ball for you is a monster in Najee Harris. You have the best players blocking. You have a top 15 quarterback who was picked in the top 15 first-round pick for the New England Patriots. Please stop. Texas, overrated. I don't think they win more than 6 games. I think they can start the season 0-2. Bold prediction. Texas starts off 0-2, upset both games. And I think they're going to be – I think Arkansas is a definite loss. They could win the opening game against Louisiana. I wouldn't be shocked if they won that game. But week 2, Arkansas, people better stop sleeping on Arkansas. Their defense last year was absolutely fantastic. Their offense wasn't, but their defense was. They should have beaten Auburn, if not for a garbage call on a fumble where he fumbled and they said, oh, he took a knee. So Arkansas, I think their building trajectory is going up. Texas, you can miss me. But since obviously I said my team on the rise is going to be Ole Miss, I think Ole Miss can go into the top 12. But now, obviously, since we both said Texas, let's pick another team also. Team to disappoint. I'll start off. Chetan, you can look over another team I expect to disappoint. Notre Dame. They're going to realize, Ian Book, he wasn't spectacular, but he got the job done. They're going to realize what a quarterback different. Jack Cohen, who, if anyone knows, from Wisconsin, is the definition of game manager in college football. He is not going to throw astronomical numbers. Notre Dame ranked 9th? You must be crazy. I think they could lose week 1 to Florida State if they don't take them seriously. They got Purdue at Wisconsin. That is not an easy. Look at this stretch they have. This 5-game stretch is absolutely. I don't think any team in the country has a 5-game stretch like this. At Wisconsin, I think that's an L. Home to Cincinnati, I think that's an L. At Virginia Tech, which is not an easy place to play. Home to USC, home North Carolina. They would be lucky to go 3-2 in that stretch. And then they finish the season off pretty easy. Virginia, Georgia Tech, Stanford. So their ending is pretty easy. Their start is pretty solid. But in my opinion, they would be lucky to go 9-3, 8-4. So for them to be ranked 9th, obviously a team with 3 losses or even 4 losses, they shouldn't. I don't think they're gonna be in the top 25.
That is very, very bold.
No, bro, I'll be honest, bro. I don't think any of these are bold.
Yeah, no,
I don't know what these people are doing, ranking these. See, that's what I hate about rankings. Stop ranking based off what you saw and rank, even with the NFL, rank with what you think is going to happen. Don't rank with what you think, from the past or whatever. You should never judge that. Try to be the person or the group or the organization that looks forward, not backwards. And that's where I think a lot of people with these rankings miss. Like, you're picking Notre Dame strictly off of reputation. That's all you're doing. I have no quarrels with the top 6. I think those 6 are all justified in being in the top 6. Alabama, Oklahoma State, Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas A&M. I think Cincinnati should be 7. Iowa State got no problem. Notre Dame, get the fuck out of here. They should not be 9. North Carolina, they lost way too many receivers. They have a great quarterback, Sam Howell. They lost a lot of talent. They lost 2 running backs. They lost 2 receivers, starting receivers. Their defense is going to return 10 players, so that's solid. Mac Brown, he's been building. 10,
And
I think, is a little too high.
that's what I was gonna say. Is you asked for a disappointing team because we both agreed on Texas. I was gonna say North Carolina can be because exactly what you mentioned. They lost 2 running backs. They lost 2 wide receivers, and games they lost last year. Complete meltdown against Virginia. They lost 44-41, and they narrowly escaped beating Florida State 31-28. And they're lucky that Clemson's not on
No,
their
they
schedule.
lost to Florida State.
Oh, wait, yep. They lost to Florida State 31-28. They're lucky they don't have to play Clemson this year.
Their schedule is not that tough. They have at Virginia Tech week 1. That could be tricky.
That could be tricky.
Georgia State, easy. Virginia, easy. Georgia Tech, easy. Duke, easy. Florida State at home, I think they rebound from last year. Miami at home, they destroyed Miami last year. I think they could take care of business. Their toughest game is at Notre Dame. And I think they'll win that game. So they could, in my opinion, go 12-0.
They could,
They
but
could be the worst 12-0 team of all time.
you also consider from what we saw last year, they can easily lose games that they shouldn't.
They can give you stinkers. Yes, completely true. They lost to Florida State, an awful Florida State team. They lost to Virginia, had no business losing that game. But they also did play great against teams also that were pretty good. But yes, I completely agree. Top 10, they could be headed down potentially. But I think defensively they'll be much better. They're returning 10 players. Hold on 1 second here. Just any other thoughts in the top? Florida, overrated. Their seat that Florida's like next 5 years was doomed ever since that player, that corner, threw that shoe in the LSU game, and that cost them that game, and then they lost to Alabama the next game, the SEC championship game. Kyle Pitts, gone. Tony, gone. Trask, gone. These are some big names, man. So I don't think they're going to rebound. I think the quarterback they have, I forgot his name. He's a mobile guy. They have high hopes for him, maybe. But 13? Get the fuck out of here. 13 over Coastal Carolina? Over Coastal Carolina's getting disrespected is because they're not a top major. Simple as that. Iowa, disrespected. LSU, I have no idea what to expect, to be honest, because their quarterback got injured already. They got players on defense. They have the best corner in the country on their team. Receivers, they have one guy. LSU's hard. I don't know about LSU really. I think LSU can lose week 1 to UCLA. We're going to get into that next week. Week 1 starts. Football is back, baby. Week 0, I don't really count. Next week, once the month changes to September, we are officially back. Football is back. The vibe changes. The air smells better. The air tastes better. Water tastes better. The sun feels better. Everything just feels better once we turn the page to September. And then the NFL is obviously 1 week after that. Chetan, any final thoughts you would like to add here?
Who do you have as your national champion?
Oh, yes. Good point. I think Oklahoma plays Georgia in the national championship game. And finally, I think Lincoln Riley does not get it done again. I don't blame him. I just think Georgia, with that defense, I understand Oklahoma's going to be much improved. But I think Kirby Smart, he's finally due for his moment. He got the quarterback. This is the best quarterback he's had by far. Obviously, they made the biggest mistake possible letting Justin Fields go. Who the fuck was the dumbass that picked Justin Fields over Jake Fromm? Who was the quarterback coach? Who was evaluating talent? If they had Justin Fields on that team for the past 3 years, they would have won a national championship, in my opinion. And they let him go to Ohio State. He played at Ohio State for 2 years. Obviously, he lost in the championship game last year. And the year before, he made the playoffs. I think that was a huge mistake. But Jake Fromm was always hyped up. He never lived up to the hype. He was an okay player. But just JT Daniels, he got the arm. He got the moxie. He got the swag. They got the players. They got the defense. Week 1 is their statement game. I think Kirby Smart is going to realize. Plus, he sees Alabama. If you're going to get Alabama, this is the year to get them. because you don't want to get them once the players are in their second year, third year. You want to get them when they're young, like they were 2 years ago when they went 10-2. When Mac Jones was a freshman, I think, and Tua got hurt. The year Tua got hurt, his ankle, his hip. The year his hip got hurt. You want to get them like that. Bryce Young could be really good, but I'm not. I'll take JT Daniels this year. So I think my pick is this is really difficult because I love Oklahoma. Like I love Jalen Hurts, obviously. I loved watching Baker. I loved watching Kyler Murray. I love Lincoln Riley. Is a genius in my eyes, and I actually want him to succeed. I root for him actually, especially him being such a young coach. But I think Georgia finally goes back on top. It's been a minute since he's been on top. I think Georgia will beat Oklahoma and one of the best national championship games. We ain't going to see no blowout like we've been seeing. We saw a blowout beatdown last year. We saw a blowout the year prior with LSU just destroying Clemson. And the year before was Clemson, Alabama. Wait, right? What was the year before that?
Yeah, that was Clemson, Alabama.
The last amazing championship game I saw was Georgia versus Alabama. Jalen Hurts gets benched. Tua comes in as a freshman. Overtime victory. That was the best championship game I've seen in a long time. That was 2018 or 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Tua's freshman year. But I expect a fantastic national championship game. I think we're really top heavy this year, especially with COVID. A lot of players staying because they didn't get a chance to show out. Some players opting out. So I think Georgia, Oklahoma, national championship, gonna be fire.
I'm currently looking for my favorite championship game. I think my favorite one's the 2017. That is the Deshaun Jackson year. Or the 2016 season.
Yeah. My point was the best game we've had most recently was Georgia versus
the year after. That was literally the year after.
Yeah. The last two have been pretty damn pathetic, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think I have the same matchup for the championship game. And I'm taking Oklahoma to win.
I love it.
And that's mostly because, we keep talking about Lincoln Riley and all these quarterbacks he has never getting it done.
Well, it's usually because of the defense of the offense.
It's always the defense, never the offense. I think they finally get it done. I think they just outscore everyone at this point. Their defense will be all right, but they're just going to outscore everyone. It's not going to be a laugher, but I think the championship game is going to be a shootout.
This will be a rematch of the Rose Bowl from 2000, Baker Mayfield's last year. So that's 3 years ago, 2017, I would say. That game was epic. That was the epic game. Georgia won that game. Baker Mayfield had a real shot that year. And Georgia – that was the year Georgia went to the national championship game. That was the year they played in the national championship game. So Lincoln Riley, that was one of his best teams. CeeDee Lamb was on that team. Brown, I think, was on that team. Obviously, you had Baker Mayfield. You had Mark Andrews on that team, I think. So they had players on that team. So I think that was probably Lincoln Riley's best team until this year. So Oklahoma, I think, Oklahoma. Oklahoma just got to stay away from that one stinker they always drop every year. Kansas State be doing them dirty every year. They got to avoid those clunkers because it's there for them to have. Their schedule is not difficult. They should win this conference 12-0, go to the national championship game, in my opinion, and then we'll see what happens. You got Oklahoma. I got Georgia. And the ultimate wild card team for me to win the national championship game is Cincinnati. And that would be something to see a non-power team do it. Luke Fickell, the head coach, would have offers up the ass.
Yeah.
From Texas. Texas would probably fire Steve Sarkisian the next day. All these big name schools would be at his mercy.
USC. Who else?
USC could do it. Let's see. I want to say Texas A&M. No. Big programs. Wisconsin, maybe. Wisconsin, because they've been good, but they haven't been Wisconsin in a minute. Let's see. What are the teams? Notre Dame. No, Brian Kelly's been doing his thing.
Brian Kelly's been fun.
Yeah. Him like that. Florida maybe because if they don't get over the hump. Miami could come calling. Miami could come calling. Penn State. I don't know about Franklin's future. We don't know about him. He hasn't been performing well recently. Ever since Saquon Barkley and Trace McSorley left, he hasn't been able to find his groove. But I believe in him as a head coach. Maybe he can figure things out. But all in all, I think that is how we see this future college football season. No more fucking COVID. Hopefully there's no forfeits. Everyone's safe. The crowds, obviously, I do believe the NFL is better than college football, but the atmosphere is always better in college because you got college students out here going crazy, alumni, alma mater, et cetera, et cetera. You know it's going to be crazy because last year there was almost no fans anywhere. This year, even with the NFL, MLB, NBA, fans will be back, and we'll be here to cover everything that we need to do.
All right. One last fact before we sign off is Oklahoma and Georgia have only faced off once. It was that Peach Bowl. I thought
it was the Rose Bowl. No?
Rose Bowl. My bad.
Yeah, that game was great. That was a great game.
Only time they've ever faced off in college football history.
Wow, I did not know that. I thought they played it before, but nope.
No, that was the one and only time, and Oklahoma has that win.
That's the power of the playoff. I hope the playoff expands to 8 teams. In my opinion, it should be 8. I think 12 is too much. I think 8 is perfect.
6.
What happened?
I think it'd be good at 6 too.
I think 8. You give the first 2 teams buys for earning the 1 and 2 spot, and then you play the other 6 teams play.
How does that
wouldn't work out?
That's why I said 6 is you give the first 2 buy and then the next 4 play.
Well, I think we can figure it out. Figure it out. 8 teams. I feel 6 teams minimum, 8 teams max. 12 is too much. 10 is too much. 8 would be like, okay, we all have a realistic shot. Bro, there's no way all these teams in college football, only 4 should have the right to play for a championship. It's just not. It's not enough. There's not enough. Like NFL got 6. How many teams make the playoffs now? 7 and 7, 14. NBA, half the teams make it. MLB is more exclusive, I would say, but still double-digit teams. Bro, you gotta make it to 8. They also
expanded the wild card if you think about it.
Plus, the playoff will only make these teams more money, these programs more money. TV rights will only go up. Come on, man, do it right. 4 is not enough. We had 2 before, which was trash. Now we got 4. It gotta be 8. 8 will make everyone happy, in my opinion.
All right, guys. Now we're signing off. We'll talk to you guys next time. Peace out.